Well, welcome everyone. I'm thrilled you are all here to join us for today's webinar, Driving Sales with Facebook Instagram Ads, with the amazing Zen Comerford from Litework Marketing. This webinar is brought to you by the Slocan Valley Economic Development Partnership, the Nakusp Area Development Board, and Community Futures Central Kootenay. My name is Karen Cornelson, and I'm the Business Support Advisor for the Slocan Valley. If you're a business in the Valley and need any further assistance after this webinar or help with your business in general, please don't hesitate to get in touch. I'll put my email in the chat, but for those who will be watching the recording, it is karenk@speakers.bc.ca. For those of you in the Arrow Lake region, your business support advisor is the fabulous Aidan McLaren Co. He's here for you as well. For everyone else, Community Futures and Basin Business Advisors have a ton of supports out there for you in your business, and Zan will go over some of those at the end. So before I throw to Zan, just a few housekeeping items. If you have a question, please use the Q&A function, which should be on your screen there. Zan will take questions throughout the webinar, so whenever you have a question, just ask and she'll answer. If you accidentally use the chat, that's okay. I'll be here and we'll get your question there as well, but try to use the Q&A. The recording of this webinar will be available to everyone who registered and will be sent out this week. Yeah, without further ado, Zan, over to you.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. We're spending this lunch together. So exciting. I'm just going to pop my screen share open and we'll get started. I just heard my audio spotty. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, so here we are. Driving sales with Facebook and Instagram ads. First of all, I always like to start by acknowledging that the land now known as Canada is the unceded and unsurrendered territory of many Indigenous nations. Litework Marketing and myself, we reside on the traditional unceded territories of the Sinixt and Ktunaxa nations. So I'm Zan, as mentioned. Can you all see my screen? Are we good? I don't think we can see my screen. Okay, here we go. Always a fun technical road whenever it's in Zoom, never seems to go smoothly. So I've been driving sales and creating culture online for nearly a decade. I cut my teeth marketing global immersive events and then refined those skills working with brick and mortar and businesses and virtual stores, events, conferences. The industries I've worked with goes on and on. My expertise lies in connecting businesses with the cultural component of the audiences they serve and helping them use this connection to drive sales. So what are we going to cover in this hour of power? Obviously, Facebook and Instagram social advertising is a massive topic in which we could do a lot of workshops, a lot of hour-long lunch workshops particularly. But here's the cornerstone of what we're going to cover today. How to have the most control over your social ads, the 3 types of social ads that you should and need to know how to use, how to create and leverage powerful custom audiences. So taking the guesswork out of who do I target, which is going to be the most effective ones to target, and then how to create the most effective ads possible for your business. Okay, so why social ads? You know, a lot of people are like, oh, maybe I boost something a little bit every now and again. Some folks are like, I don't know, I feel hesitant. We just have great word of mouth marketing, or I'm not sure if I want to invest in social because I've been buying the same ad in the paper for the last few years and I don't really want to change from that. So here are some example screenshots of the results that I've been able to achieve using Facebook and Instagram advertising. So we see here stats like $169 spent, $13,000 generated in revenue, $149 spent, $17,000 generated in revenue. Even down here, we see $2,300 spent, $56,000 generated in revenue. So This is an amazing resource for small business owners to have control over not only the creative and the messaging that they get to put out there in the world, but achieve amazing results with smaller budgets. And most importantly, for small business owners, we don't have money and time to flit around and see if things work or not know if they work. We need to be able to track, okay, what is the result of my marketing efforts? And using social media advertising is an amazing and easy way to make sure that you can track the results of the dollars that you spend. So, social media advertising has a low entry cost. If you have $50, you can do something. If you have $500, you can do something. If you have $5,000, you can do something. You can make social work for you with a low entry cost. So when you compare that to static advertising, and I know in the Slocan Valley, I know we're dealing with a different audience. I've lived in the Slocan Valley for, I think, 7 years. I know we're dealing with a different audience. Valley Voice, very important. Pennywise, very valid way to advertise in the Slocan Valley. But if you are looking to expand your marketing and get out of that perhaps bubble, this is a low entry cost, and you can change your budget based on what you have available at the time. So low entry cost, high potential results. Easy to expand your current audience. So it's easy to build on the results that you've already gotten from your work in digital marketing so far, whether that's your Instagram audience, your Facebook audience, a mailing list, whichever. It's a visual, highly visual platform with a wide range of formats. So a lot of folks find it really easy to use, really easy to understand. There's flexible objectives, and we'll get into this a lot deeper shortly. So whether you're looking to increase your awareness, or you're looking to really just drive those sales, or just, you know, get the word out about your business because it's new, it's really easy for you to have control over what your advertising is doing. And another amazing feature of this is it's possible to change your messaging without having to overhaul everything. So this is key, as I said, because we can invest so much time into getting an amazing poster design or an ad design for print. And then we realize, like, oh, wait, it wasn't actually driving the sales or the results that we wanted because maybe the quote didn't make a lot of sense with the image that we had chosen. Or maybe the video, or excuse me, it would be a print ad. So the messaging wasn't quite right. I wish I had said this in it, but it's already gone to print. So with social, we can change things ongoing based on the results and the data that we're seeing. So the first thing that we want to remember is that people will interface with our brand at different stages of the funnel. So what does that mean? This is the funnel. So the funnel is essentially the different levels of awareness that people go through when becoming a customer or becoming a participant in your brand and from your business. So when they're at different stages of their experience with your company, they're going to need different messages. So you can think of this like when you walk into a store, they don't rush up to you and put a purchase in your hand and ask for $5. And so ignoring or not knowing about the fact that this marketing funnel exists is to your detriment, because it can lend us to get onto what's called soapbox marketing, where we're just constantly just driving the sale. We're just like, this product is this much and it's really great and you need it. And that's all we post about. It's all we talk about. It's all our sponsored ads are. And that doesn't resonate with people. So essentially the marketing funnel goes like this. At the top funnel is when they're in the awareness phase of discovering you. So they've heard about you. They are aware that they might need something like the product or service that you offer, but they're not really sure. And it's just where you want to be introducing yourself. As they move down into consideration, that's where they're like, okay, so this company, your company, does this. I'm thinking about maybe going with them, but I also saw this company over here does this. So like, I wonder what the benefits are of this company versus this company. So they're using consideration and weighing their options. And then as they get down here lower into the funnel, that's where they're converting. And so converting when it comes to digital marketing is when someone does the action that we want them to take, whether that's a purchase or signing up for a mailing list or agreeing to take a challenge, they're converting. Those are conversions. So we're going to go into this more in depth shortly, but let's just put this here is that the marketing funnel exists, and we have to remember that people want to hear different types of messaging, and we can target our social media ads to speak to them at those different levels that they're at in the funnel. Okay, so let's crack open Ads Manager and dive right in. So I'm going to do this live with you. You can follow along if you like, if you're familiar with this. This is the place that you'll have the most control over your ads. So we're going to go to facebook.com/ads manager. Come along with me on a ride to Ads Manager. So here we go. We're going to go facebook.com/ads manager. So when you open up your Ads Manager, you're going to see something that looks like this. So just stop me. I'm going to just kind of toss it open if anybody has any questions about Ads Manager. It looks like we're good. But if you have any questions, or you're like, Zan, what are we doing? Just pop it into the Q&A. So in our Ads Manager, the first thing that we want to do is make sure that our pixel is set up. So we're going to go over here to All Tools, click it, and then click Events Manager. So I know I'm dropping some new lingo in. What our pixel is it's the piece of code that connects Facebook and Instagram ads to our website. And so what this does is absolutely key because it allows all of the data that we're getting from our Facebook and Instagram advertising to be more valuable to us, because it's going to include not only people clicked on this post or liked it or watched this long of our video, but we want to be able to know if they're taking the purchase, if they're adding it to their cart, if they're adding their payment info, if they are signing up for a mailing list, if they are viewing the landing page, what's happening once they click on that website or our link in our ad and leave Facebook or Instagram, which is of course the whole goal here, is to use these ads to get them to come off app and come and interact with our business on a deeper level, hopefully purchasing or making a conversion. So this is where your pixel lives. This is where your pixel lives. So if you have a pixel already connected, you'll see, as I do here, this little bar. This is where it's tracking things that are happening on my websites that this pixel is connected to. So if you don't have a pixel connected, you're going to want to click Create, and you'll see, I can't do it here because it's a live account, but you'll see Create Pixel, and then you want to embed it into your website. So I'm not going to go super in depth for that now on how to connect your pixel, but I do want you to remember this. If you haven't created your pixel yet, when you go to this page, you're going to see a button to create pixel, create new event. And then if you have a plug and play website like a Squarespace, a Wix, a Shopify, any of those kind of DIY builder assisted platforms, it's going to be really easy for you to just, there'll be an area for your Facebook pixel. It's often in settings, tracking, or analytics. If you have trouble with that, you can Google it. Those are the easiest places it is to put your pixel. If you have a WordPress site or a Drupal site or a coded site like that, you're going to want to put it in your header, and you might want to ask a developer friend to help you if it's not something that you're super comfortable with, or you can use Tag Manager. So create your pixel. If you have a plug and play site, a simple Google will show you where to put it. It's really easy. If you have a coded site like a WordPress or a Drupal, you want to get that embedded correctly into the header of all pages. So I see a question. Where did you first click to get to that screen? So to get to this screen, let's go back. Once you're in Ads Manager, I was in Ads Manager. Facebook.com/ads manager. Yeah, it is a lot. I'm seeing lots of people in Karen's grade being like, it's going to be okay. We can watch this again, follow along. So it is a lot. I want to give a bird's eye view of how to best use social advertising. And obviously an hour is a short time to do this. So where I went, this is your ads manager, facebook.com/ads manager. I use this hamburger menu over here, all tools, and you click on events manager. So your pixel tracks what's called events. So an event is like a page view, add to cart, add purchase information, view product, things like that. Things that happen on your website that are defined as conversion activity are called events. You click events manager. And then you're going to be back here. You can see the different events down here. Okay. So just a refresher here. The pixel is a piece of code that allows actions taken by your visitors to be tracked and leveraged through your ads. So you click all tools, click events manager. This is your pixel code here. And you want to get that in your website, because this is going to allow us to make the most effective advertising. So we've all had this experience where, we look at a shirt online and then that shirt follows us around our social media until it eventually fades into the background. That's how this is happening. Or, you add it to your cart, you add this like snow shovel to your cart, and then that snow shovel follows you around the internet until you decide to purchase it, or it finally gives up and leaves. So that's what the pixel does. It allows you to target people based on their behavior, which is obviously a huge advantage to you for trying to drive sales. Now we're going to go into how do we look at what is effective for our campaigns. Okay, so we've probably all, I'm going to assume that, I'm just going to check the Q&A. So if you are not seeing a create events button on your screen, I'm happy to walk you through like setting up your pixel. You may run into some challenges depending on your level of experience in the back end of Ads Manager, your experience working in interfaces like this. So I would be happy to walk you through that or answer your questions. You can send me screenshots in a one-on-one, but unfortunately, it's not something that I can dive into in depth in this session for the amount of time that we have and everyone's personal experience. So if you had trouble setting up your Facebook pixel, just flag it, shoot me perhaps a chat message, or just follow up with me. I'll put my email in afterwards and we'll make sure that we get you sorted out with that, because there can be some roadblocks and it can take a couple minutes to figure out exactly what to do. So the pixel, we're going to shelve that for a second. If you created it or it's live already, fantastic. If you're having trouble, don't worry. We'll make sure that we get you sorted out with the instructions you need, personalized for whatever's happening with your own account. So we're going to hold the pixel up here. Our ecosystem of ads are now talking to each other. Our website is set up, our ads manager are working, or we're in our ads manager and we're ready to have that control. So when we boost an ad from the front end of Facebook, so that's when we are like, we have a great Facebook post or we have a good Instagram post, and Facebook either tells us this is getting reaching 2,300 more people than your other post, boost it to reach this many more people or something like that. Or we're like, this is a good post, I'm going to boost it. And we hit that boost post button on the front of our post. That's good. It's good to be boosting things and interacting with social advertising, but it's really limited as to how we can really analyze our success. And the most important piece of becoming this super suave digital manager that you're now all becoming as part of also being entrepreneurs is knowing what data to look at. So when you're here and you're coming in to check on your campaigns, we're going to click this columns button right here, and we're going to customize our columns. Here we go. So Facebook sets you up with your own columns to look at to see what you want to have a look at generally for your ads. But we're going to take that the next level because we are now superstar advertisers. So what we want to look at is clicks, cost per click, or CPC. That's what that stands for. Click-through rate, frequency, and then depending on the type of ad that you're setting up, you're going to want to choose things like engagement. You can just search for things up here, cost per page engagement, cost per post engagement, or my favorite, return on ad spend. So this is when you're doing a sales campaign where you can see you spent $30 and you got a 5 times ROAS, return on ad spend on that campaign. So you're going to select, and I'll go back, this is all recorded, but I have a screen where we go over exactly what you want. CTR, clicks, I think clicks is another good one, and cost per click, and then apply. So that's going to change your columns here to the right. So now you can see all the data that is important for you to look at. So I just want to explain what these columns mean, because we can use these words like CPC and CTR and not really know what they actually mean. So let's go over this so that we're all on the same page. Clicks, pretty apparent, the amount of clicks that you're getting on your ads, product view. General rule of thumb is I like my cost per click like under $1.50. If you are selling shirts and your cost that are $30 and your cost per click is $7, it can be an indicator that your audience and your messaging aren't lining up. So if your cost per click is too high, it means your ads are expensive to serve and that your messaging is not correct for your audience. So essentially you're not saying, people aren't responding in a great way. And it means that either your messaging needs to tweak, so your photo and your text should change, or perhaps your audience targeting needs to change, but we'll go into that shortly. Your CTR is your click-through rate. So this is essentially, let's say I'm serving my ad to 100 people and 50 of them are clicking, that percentage is going to be my click-through rate. So ideally you want this click-through rate. And again, this is rule of thumb, like very general. It's always different based on your industry. But if you see that click-through rate below 1%, you're going to want to make some changes to your campaign. I'll pull up something here so we can see. Right, so if we look down here at some sample campaigns I've run before, this click-through rate is good, 2%, that's great. This click-through rate, 0.26%, not good. And look at this. So another thing to consider is our frequency column. We made sure that one was clicked. So frequency is the amount of times that your ad is being shown to a person in a 24-hour period. And so the frequency number, ideally you want to have that less than 3. So you can see here, this ad was served 9 times to an individual in 24 hours. Bad news. That's way too many, which is obviously why people weren't clicking on it, because they were like, get out of here, Blundstone's ad. You're talking to me way too much. I'm very, very bored of you. So recap, cost per click. I would say generalized industry, you're gonna want that under $2. CTR, you're gonna want that definitely above 1%. The higher the CTR, the more of a sign it is that you're sending the right message to the right people. Cost per link click, again, that depends, but in a general rule of thumb, you're gonna want that hovering around $1, less than $1. So maybe pop this in your back pocket for ease. The lower the cost per click, the better. The higher the CTR, the better. The lower the frequency, the better. So you want to check on these columns because it's going to help you see that you're the performance of your ads and have a flag for when you need to change things. So what we don't want to do with our social advertising ever is just set it and forget it. We don't just want to be like, I spent $200 and I put those 2 ads in, and now I'm just going to check at the end of the month and just see how it went. We want to keep an eye on this as often as we can during the week. So let's just do a little recap here. So we want to track our CTR, CPC, cost per engagement, landing page views, frequency, results, return on ad spend. Okay, so there are 3 primary ad types that we want to consider for this: engagement, traffic, and conversions. There's lots of other types of ads that we can use as well, but for our purposes, as we're just getting started, these are the ones we're going to focus on. So engagement is for things like page likes or boosted posts or video views. So that is the type of campaign you do when you're talking about the top funnel, right? So you have a great post, you want to run a campaign to get your page likes up, you just did a video where you're talking about a new product and you want to make sure everybody in your target demographic and region gets to know about it. So those are your engagement ads. Now your traffic ads are driving people to your site. So that's that mid funnel we were talking about, right? So they've heard about you from this engagement post, whether they already knew about you or not. We're talking about this on like a campaign by campaign basis where they're getting refreshed with you, they're getting to know you again. So we've got the engagement post, and as we go down the funnel, we're driving people to the site. So we're like, hey, you know, you should come and take a closer look. I know you like the video. You should come have a closer look at this. You should come get to know me a little bit more. And then conversion ads are sales or whichever conversion action you want people to take. So this is where we have things like, this is on sale right now, come and buy it. It takes them directly to that product page. This is the ad where you're trying to make it as easy as possible for them to do the conversion action. So you can see if you're skipping the top 2 types of ads here and skipping the funnel levels of your marketing, again, it's just like walking into a coffee shop and someone coming up to you and giving you a French vanilla latte and being like, it's $5 and handing you the debit machine and just staring at you. We have to remember that we want these different levels of communication and these different types of ads. So again, top funnel, mid funnel, low funnel. Okay, so we're just going to pop over and I'm going to show you what it looks like to set up those different ads. So when we're in our ads manager again, I'm hoping you're following along and you're like, okay, cool. I've got my plan. I've written my ads. We're going to go into that shortly. But how do I create these different types of ads? So you're going to click create. And this is where you choose a campaign objective. So you can see here, engagement. You can choose a type of engagement ad, post engagement, page likes, or event responses. Traffic. So this is sending people to a website, app, or Facebook event. But for this instance, we're going to use traffic. And conversions. And this is where we are selling directly to people. So why do we use these different types of ads? They have a different purpose and they have a different cost. So I don't want to get anyone confused by thinking that like engagement ads cost blank, traffic ads cost blank, and conversion ads cost blank. It's not as black and white as that. However, engagement ads are cheaper. So it's like you would want to make a smaller budget for your engagement ads, a slightly bigger budget for your traffic ads, and a larger budget for your conversion ads. So let's say my monthly budget is $300 for all of my marketing. I'm going to take $50 of that, put it on engagement ads. So that means my boosted posts. I'm going to use that for boosting videos, doing some page likes. That's like cheap and cheerful top funnel content. Because getting someone, you can imagine, it makes sense. Getting someone to like a post or just see it or watch 10 seconds of a video is easier than getting them to purchase. So it costs less. Traffic, then let's say out of my $500 budget, I'm going to put $200 on traffic. So that's getting people to my website where they can go check out what I'm offering. And then I'm going to do $300 on my conversion ads, because that's where I'm going to make all my money. And it's where I can things, you know, it might cost me $5 to get a sale. My cost per conversion might be something like $5 to get a $25 sale, let's say. So let's say at the beginning of the month, I'm going to go in with my fresh budget and I'm going to be like, okay, my engagement, I'm going to name the campaign engagement test. I'm going to create my ad set, and I'll explain what all this means in a second. Let's say, I'll make this better. Let's say this is going to be February engagement. Okay, so I would do this for each of these kind of buckets with my budget. I'd be like, here's my engagement bucket, here's my traffic bucket, and here's my conversions. So this is how we create a campaign. I know this is so much information, but I'm sure you're all doing great. So again, to recap, I'm going to click create, choose what I want my campaign to be about, traffic, engagement, or conversions. Name my campaign, something that's easy for me to remember. Gosh, how often can I misspell February? And you can name these just something that it's all about what you're going to remember and understand. So here's like another one of these like pause and remember this moment. So the campaign is like the overarching direction of your ads. The ad set is where we do our audience targeting. And then the ad is the actual piece of copy and creative itself that gets served. Okay, so campaign, it's like, think of it like a Russian nesting doll. Campaign is the biggest doll. Ad set is the next one, and that's where we figure out who we're talking to. And then ad set is the little Russian doll in the middle. Okay, so that's how we create a campaign, what campaign, ad set, and ad mean. I'm gonna pop back over here. And we are going to talk about audiences. Okay, so we have now connected our website to our Facebook and Instagram advertising. Beautiful, everything's talking to each other, feels good. We know that we're tracking what people are doing on our site and how we can use that, or we're going to learn how we can use that on our social advertising. We've changed our columns for performance. So you see, we're getting our foundation set up really strong. We know what to track. We're going to track our CTR, our CPC, our frequency, our cost per engagement, our landing page views, and our return on ad spend. So we're like, sweet. I know everything's talking to each other. That's what should be happening. I know what I'm going to look at back here. That's what's going to be happening. Now we're going to look at our custom audiences. So I'm going to show you this slide first, and then I'm going to walk you through a live demonstration. So custom audiences are awesome. There's two ways to target people. Yeah, two general ways to target people with social advertising. One of them is through interest targeting. So that's where you enter in things like, people who are interested in my business might be interested, are definitely, let's say I sell snowboard socks. They're interested in snowboarding, cross-country skiing, maybe ski resorts, maybe they're interested in Whistler, interest targeting like that. The second way to target people through social media advertising is to use a custom audience source. So what does that mean? A custom audience is how they've engaged with your business on Facebook or on your website. So I just want to set a caveat aside and speak to it. There has been some changes with iOS in the past, I guess time's so strange now, but I guess the past year and a half, where the privacy settings of some people's browsers have changed. So some folks, you might see a flag come up when you choose website as a custom audience source that they'll say like iOS tracking has changed. And so iOS is iPhones, and you might not be able to target people as well as you had before, but shelve that. So you want to choose your custom audiences sources. So I'm going to walk you through this in a second, but this is how you retarget people based on how they've interacted with your Facebook page, how they've interacted with your website, your customer list. So if you have a mailing list, or if everyone who purchases from you goes onto a mailing list, you can upload that list and then retarget people. And retarget and remarket are terms that are used when you're sending ads to someone who's already engaged with your business in some way, usually in the virtual space. You can target people who have engaged with your Instagram account, who have watched 10 seconds of a video, who have shopped on your Facebook store, or who have attended any Facebook events, like clicked RSVP to a Facebook event. So why do you think this is so important? Well, these are all people that are already at those stages of your funnel. So if people have already been to your website, they're mid-funnel audiences. And so if we're not A, using that pixel that we just talked about setting up, or B, using these custom audiences, then there's like holes in our funnel. We have a leaky bucket, dear Liza. So if we're not using these custom audiences, then we're bringing people to our website and then just letting them walk away and never asking them to come back. Or we're doing this amazing Instagram reel or amazing Facebook post, and then we're just hoping they somehow find out about us again. So we want to use custom audiences, and there's 2 ways to set them up. So let me show you how. Okay, we're going to come back over into our amazing ads manager, and I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. So for ease, the 2 ways to set up custom audiences is inside the audience tab and then inside when you're creating a campaign. So if I'm creating my campaign here, as you can see, I'm going to click continue. Perfect. So this is remember the Russian nesting doll? So this is the campaign. This is overall, your campaign name. We're going to leave these all for right now. Okay, now I'm in the ad set. So this is where I set things like my audience, my budget, my start and end date, things like that. So right now I'm going to focus on audiences, and then I'm going to come back up here into budget and schedule. The other place you can create audiences is clicking on this hamburger menu again, and then clicking on audiences. So which one is better? It's up to your preference. I like to create my audiences inside my campaign because it's one less step, but I want to just give you the gamut. So 2 ways to create custom audiences. One is inside the campaign that you're creating. Second is inside the audience tab, which I access by clicking all tools, audiences. So I'm going to pop back over here to my February engagement and scroll down to audiences. So you see here, custom audiences, awesome. I'm going to create a new custom audience. So remember this from that screen we just saw? So I'm just gonna walk you through the 3 big ones, right? Website engagement, Instagram account engagement, and Facebook page engagement. So let's say I've set up my pixel, very excited about it. I want to make sure that I'm tracking everyone. I just click next. Anyone who meets the following criteria. So this is my pixel, perfect. Let's see here. You can track all website visitors, people who have visited a specific web page, visitors by time spent, or from your pixel events. So if this was an e-commerce pixel, I would have events here like, I want to target everyone who has been abandoned a cart in the last 30 days. So let's say I'm going to, for this example, because I want to make it a little bit complex, we're going to say I want people who have visited any URL that contains sweaters. So what that would mean is that it's let's go to a clothing company. I don't even know what to go to. I'll take a Valley example. So I'll go to Nomads. So let's say I'll do dresses. Okay, so you see how this URL changes up here based on what's in there. So this keyword, dresses, I'm going to target any URL. I just want to retarget people that have looked at dresses. So you can create an audience, change the date range to whatever you like. So the broader, let's say you've just done a whole bunch of ads on dresses for the last 30 days, and then you want to, that are like Instagram posts and they're all engagement posts about dresses. You want to make sure that you're retargeting those people with dress ads. So the shorter time period, the more recent the engagement would have had to been. The longer time period, the bigger the audience, and the longer time period that engagement would have been. So I'm going to say, I want to target people who have been to my website for dresses in the past 90 days. You can include more people, so you can refine it. So I could say, I want dresses and pants, or I could just do a simple audience where I said all website visitors in the past 90 days. I can also exclude people. This is getting into the weeds, but you can narrow it by being like, I want people who visited dresses, but haven't visited the sale dresses, or something like that. So lots of fun to play around with back here, and you can't break it. That's what's so important. It's just like, have a good look. It's all really intuitive. So name it something you can remember, website 90 days. And then important here for, I find my record keeping is the date, because if I'm making that 90-day audience, I want to make sure that I refresh that 90-day audience in March. So January 22, create audience. Perfect. And I'm going to create another custom audience. So once you create this custom audiences, they are saved in your ads manager. So you won't have to do this every time, and I'll show you what that looks like. But let me just go through, as I said, Instagram and Facebook. So I'm going to click Instagram account, click next. Here's my Instagram account. So you can change it from everyone who's engaged with this professional account, people who engaged with a post, people who saved a post, people who sent a message. So you can see there, remembering that funnel, there's people at different levels of the funnel with your Instagram, for example. People who've engaged at all in the professional account, they've viewed it, they've commented, they've swiped and looked at a photo, is top funnel. People who engaged with any post or ad are a little bit deeper. So we're going to keep it broad. I'm going to say, maybe I've been going at my Instagram for a year. I just want that broad audience, 365. Again, Instagram page 365. Again, 30th, 2022. Create that audience. I'm going to create one more and show you Facebook page. Okay. So what's great with a Facebook page is it works the same as Instagram. So people who have visited your page, people who have engaged with a post, or what's great about Facebook is you can target people who have clicked that like button and like your Facebook page. And so that's a really valuable audience because they've already been like, yeah, I like them. I want to hear more from them. Unfortunately, you can't target your Instagram followers yet as an audience. You can get them in a roundabout way, but you can't target people who have already, who follow your Instagram. So I'm going to say people who currently like or follow my page, and do the same thing. Name something I can remember. January page likes, or page likes January 31st. Create that audience. Okay. See, so this is this iOS flag that I talked about where it's going to be like, yo, people who have the new iOS might not be able to be tracked. That's fine. Another audience to remember is lookalike audiences. So I know I said there was 2 ways to target people, interest and custom audiences, but lookalike audiences is nestled under custom audiences. So a lookalike audience is really, really effective because it's like it data profiles people who are in your custom audiences. So let's say that I've engaged with your Instagram account. I love it. I'm part of that Instagram engaged January 31st audience. The lookalike audience is going to take my behavior online and do a 1% match to other people's behavior. So the best way to think about this is friends of friends. So it's like, if I really like your Instagram account and I'm liking it all the time, the chances that my 5 closest girlfriends are going to like it, because we're at similar ages, we have similar life interests, we have similar life experiences, is pretty high. So lookalike audiences can be really effective for that awareness level of your campaign when you're trying to meet new audiences and meet new people. And it can take the guesswork out of interest targeting, but all that testing is going to be up to you. So what I clicked to do that, create new lookalike audience. And you want to select your lookalike source. So your value-based source is your pixel. So this means it's like you can target people who are a lookalike of your purchasers or a lookalike of your add to cart. Or you can target people that are a lookalike of your, this happened last time I was doing a webinar, other sources wouldn't load. But what's going to come up here is the other sources like your Facebook engagement, your Instagram engagement, things like that. So I recommend going through and setting up all of your audiences at the get-go so that you're just good to go and you can select them after you come back. So like I said, if you set up your custom audiences once, then when you come back in to create another campaign, you're just going to be able to search for them in here. See, page likes, here we go. So let's say that this is still an engagement campaign. So then I'm going to target, I want to target my lookalike audience because it's engagement. So I want new people to find out about my business. And let's just pretend that this is going to load for this webinar. So I'm going to click one of these sources once it loads, but I'll just go and pull up one of my other ones, lookalike. So 1% people who currently like my page, Vince DeVito shoes. Now, scrolling back up, I always recommend when you're making a campaign that you set a lifetime budget, not a daily budget, because it is so easy to set a lifetime, be thinking of your whole lifetime budget when you're back here and you're going fast because you're a busy entrepreneur and you're setting up your whole budget. So do a lifetime budget and then set your the end of your campaign so that you have parameters of when it's going to start and end. I always change the end time to 11:59 so that you get that full 24-hour runtime, excuse me. And a rule of thumb here, people often ask, like, how much should I spend over what period of time? And general rule of thumb is you want to condense your spend as much as possible. So if you have $50, do that $50 over 9 days. Don't try and stretch $50 over a whole month. So just, it's better to do it in like bursts than try and stretch a little bit of money over a long period of time because it takes longer for the ads to learn. You scroll down here. This is obviously where you add your location targeting. You just enter in where you want your ads to serve. Change your age range. I don't know if anyone's in the alcohol business, but it will not let you serve alcohol ads to anyone under 19. So you want to catch that. And then let's say you wanted to do a test that didn't have these custom audiences in it. This is where you would do your detailed targeting. So you'd be like snowballs. Let's see if okay, it's not letting me use snowballs. Snowboarding. And it's worth your while to spend some time back in here as well. And just play around and see. Sometimes it doesn't load the first time. You have to refresh. There we go. Ooh. See what interest you can get. Do one or the other. Don't try and do interest targeting with your custom audience because it gets too narrow. So you see, you get this audience up here saying it's too specific for your ads to be shown. So let's say, okay, you're like, this is my custom audience set. I'm going to click next. And now I'm in my ad. So I'm going to walk you through this quickly. Russian nesting doll, right? Campaign, we called it February engagement. Ad set is where we set our budget and our audience and our targeting. In the ad, here we are. So it's going to come up here. And this is a key thing to remember. If you're doing engagement from the back end, you can boost posts. So as you scroll down, you'll see ad setup, use existing posts. So I'm hoping as you all come away from this webinar, you're no longer boosting posts from the front end. If you're like, oh, this is a good post, I should boost it. You're going to go to your ads manager, set up your engagement for the month or for the next 2 weeks, your engagement campaign, and pull those ads into here. Why? Because you have more control over your data, what you can see, assessing how good it's doing, or if you need to change it, you have more control over your audiences, and you're not just relying on the data that Facebook gives you on the front end. So if I want to select a post, I'm going to choose this one. And you see you can choose Facebook or Instagram here. Nice, I love it. And I'm going to click. So you have a choice here to add a call to action. I don't like to add calls to actions to my engagement posts because that is asking something of them. It's like a traffic ad, right? So engagement posts are just like, you want them to just engage with them because you're going to pull that audience into your next audiences. This is all coming together. So my engagement posts and my engagement ads are cheap, cheerful content that introduces my brand to people, introduces my business, and then allows them to start coming deeper and to get to know me. Because if they're served this ad and they like it, or they view a little bit of the video, I'm going to serve them ads using my custom audiences with my traffic ads. So I'm going to get to talk to them again. So I don't want to ask too much of them. I'm just introducing. They've just walked in the door. I just want them to have a look around and look at the merchandise. And then you're going to click publish. Okay. So here we go. We see it. Campaigns, ad sets, ads. So if I want to, this is where you're going to learn the power of duplication. If I want to test out a new audience, so let's say I have my engagement budget and I'm like, cool, these are my custom audiences where I'm doing lookalikes, but I want to see if snowboarding is a good audience for me. I'm just going to duplicate. And then I'm going to change my audience. So remember I said you don't want to do them, you don't want to do interest targeting and custom audiences in the same ad set. So this is the one where I'm going to do snowboarding. Cool. I'm going to change my ad set name so that I know this is my snowboarding campaign. Maybe I'm going to spend less on it. And I'm going to publish. So duplication is really great. It saves you a lot of time and energy. And then you see I've got in my February engagement campaign here. So the whole top of the Russian nesting doll. Then in my ad sets, I've got two. I've got my, I'm going to name this custom. Let's say I'm serving ads to my custom audiences and my interest snowboarding audiences. And then if I go in here, this is the ad. So this is my, let's say it's like sale boost. And then let's say I'm like leaving this for now, but then on Thursday, I'm going to come back in. I've done another post and I want to boost it. What am I going to do? I'm going to duplicate, change the post, and select a new one. Or let's say I haven't done a post. I want to make a new ad. This is letting people know. We're going to click create ad. And this is super easy to do. So again, I'm just inside the ad underneath my ad set. I'm going to name this in, maybe it's about like new shop layout. And just like creating a post, you can add your text. So like, we're so excited about our new shop layout. Even our cat Loki loves it. And then I'm going to add some media, either an image or a video. Perfect. Check it out. Looks great. I'm going to publish it. So let's take a little breath. What we just went over. So we just went over how so much crash course in Facebook and Instagram ads. So we just went over making sure your pixels set up, remembering the marketing funnel and that people are at different stages of the marketing funnel. The type of ads that you create at those different stages of the marketing funnel change. So we have engagement ads at the top. So we set our objective to engagement. This is an easy way to remember it. Cheap, cheerful content that is light and introduces people to our brand. Second on that funnel is considerations. Those are our traffic ads. That's where we want to use those custom audiences of people who have already engaged with us. We want to draw them down the funnel. Then at the bottom, we have our conversion ads. And all those are set up the same way by clicking create in our ads manager. Let's go back over there for ease. So they're all set up the same way. Create, and then we select our campaign objective. Once we select our campaign objective, we choose our audiences. And we learned how to choose custom audiences of people who have interacted with our ads before, interacted with us online, whether going through our website, our Facebook page, Facebook event, our customer list. We learned how to create lookalike audiences. So that's a data profile of somebody that's similar to our custom audiences, whichever custom audience we choose. And we learned how to create targeted audiences based on their interest. So that's in detailed targeting. We learned that we don't want to do those at the same time. We want to target our lookalike audiences, our remarketing, our custom audiences or remarketing audiences, and our interest targeting as a general rule of thumb, so they don't get too narrow. We have the campaign. So we create a campaign. That's where we set our objective. If you're a realtor, you're going to have some categories in there. You can ask me about that more after. Then under that, we have our ad sets, where we're setting our targeting and our budget. Then under that, we have our creative and copy. So what do we put in our ads? It's all about all that technical kind of architectural framework building. And then how do we make ads that are powerful and convert? What do we say, right? At these 3 levels of the funnel, Dan, that you're always talking about. So what we want to consider here is where they're at, as I keep saying, right? At these different stages. So at the top, I'm going to use this as a very simple example with a cup of coffee. So at the top of the funnel, the people are problem aware. So they're like, walking down the street, they're like, I am thirsty and tired. I want to have a cup of coffee. So they're problem aware in their customer journey. So we want to talk about the core problem. So you can even see this in a super simple example in a Starbucks like sandwich board, where they're like, thirsty, try a caramel macchiato. Here's the price, it's $5. So we talk about the problem, like swimwear that doesn't roll up, or like, isn't it annoying how your blank always ends up doing this when you don't want it to? So at the top, we're going to talk about the core problem or desire. Are you struggling? Would you like to? Are you tired of? And this isn't an ad, right? This isn't necessarily something we would say in our social content every single time, because that's going to feel ingenuine. Are you struggling to? But we're talking about generally just remembering the problem aware at this stage. As they move down the funnel, they're solution aware. So with that coffee example, they're like, okay, yeah, I want a latte. Where has good lattes? I know John and Ward has good lattes. I know Oso has good lattes. So they're solution aware, and they're starting to like consider the benefits. So this is where we want to introduce the benefits and claims. So my product and service can help you to blank, increase your blank, like increase your energy with a green tea latte. Discover the antioxidant benefits of a green tea latte. Lose the tired without the jitters. It's a green tea latte. So that's how we start introducing the benefits and claims. You can see a lot of folks blend these two with their businesses and are just like, my business helps you do Y, or they're just product aware and they're just being like, it costs this to get this. So at the bottom of the funnel, we're talking about the product, features, hooks, and proof. So that maybe you make clothing and you're like, our clothing is for adventurous people and it's $29.99. Or check out what Lisa just said about our new tunic, or another kind of testimonial quote, or it comes in 3 colors to help you do X, or it's $20.99 for the next 3 days and it's on sale. So at the bottom, we're talking just about the features of the product. So you can see in a perfect world, our engagement campaign that we talked about setting up, that's where we're keeping the messaging around the problem. So we're relating to them on this top level, because you know, you can think about it as your own customer journey as well. When you're shopping for something, you're like, I need a new car, my car is broken. You're not like, I need a Toyota Tercel because I know that they're the best on gas. You might be, but you know what I mean. In solution aware, that's when we're like, okay, I'm weighing the options, I'm weighing the odds, and we want to talk to them at that level. And then at the bottom, when they're product aware, they're ready for like the hard details. It helps you do this, it costs this much, they're ready to make a decision. So I have a couple slides here with examples. So, but we are 1 minute left. So maybe I'll just skip through these examples. You can see really quickly This one starts off, does your blank start off doing this? And then you run into this challenge, problem aware. This one's solution aware. So help your child become this. This is the solution. Help your child get this solution. And then product aware. Here's the new collection. These are the different varieties we have. This is bottom of the funnel. So to recap, so much information. Thank you all for following along so well. I'm definitely here for questions if there are any. Plan your ads out. My kind of top tips, plan your ads in advance. So if you use a notebook or use a Google Docs and pick out your best images, be like, these are my awareness campaign ads. And then just think about that top funnel. What's the problem that my business solves? And how can I make this really digestible and fun for people? Then be like, this is my new page for my mid-funnel ads. Make sure that we're talking to them at that level. And then these are my conversion ads. It helps keep you on track to make sure that you're not just doing the same kind of messaging all the time. It's something we all have to avoid. Test out your audiences to see which one gets the best results. So figure out how much your budget is and be like, try out the interest targeting we talked about, custom targeting we talked about, that's remarketing, and lookalike. Pay attention to which social content does the best. How can this inform your ads? So if you see these kind of posts do awesome, keep echoing that in your engagement. If you see this kind of post drove the most sales, or now that you're tracking your return on ad spend, use that to inform the way you write ads in the future. Make sure your pixels set up correctly. So again, if you were one of the folks that got stuck, just shoot me an email, it's in the chat, and we'll make sure you get sorted out. And set up your performance columns in Ads Manager correctly. So if you have any questions about this, if you're lost, you can actually book a free one-on-one session with me or another tech advisor about anything to do with digital marketing, particularly Facebook and Instagram ads. So if you go to the Business Basin Advisory Council, we can send out a link after the webinar, I'm sure. You can book a free one-on-one tech review where we can walk you through this. If you're like, I need help with copywriting, I got lost in the Ads Manager, it's a one-on-one session where we can just go over exactly what you need to get covered, and it's paid for by the BBA. So it's an amazing resource. Let me just, I'm stuck here. Couple more simple steps to success. I know we're over time, but rinse and repeat. So do it, assess it, and then do it again. Momentum and consistency is everything. So if you have any more questions, I know this was a hugely fast hour. Please do check out the Business Basin Advisory support programs. They have amazing resources for all of us. And you can work one-on-one with me, and we can make sure you get over any hurdles you might be coming into with your Facebook and Instagram advertising. So thank you so much. It was a lot. Check out BBA. Yeah, it was great to spend this time with you all. All on the BBA website. Yes, the Business Basin Business Advisory has these amazing one-on-one tech reviews where I just sit with you for an hour and we do everything we need to get you up and running. Let's see if there's any more questions. Hope it was helpful. I'm so happy you all came. Nice, see lots of familiar faces. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you all so much. I'll let you get back to your super busy entrepreneurial days. And I hope to see you all in one of the next webinars coming up. So see you soon. Thank you. Bye.